Jackfruit Carnitas tacos. This is the kind of recipe that can be enjoyed by vegans, vegetarians, and meat eaters alike. As a matter of fact, if you're new to being a vegetarian or a vegan, you should try this recipe. And if you're eating low carb, 3 tacos is only about 35 grams of carbs. This recipe is also fast and easy to make, so it's perfect for a weeknight meal. To get started, take 1 onion, take half of it and dice it. Take the other half of it and slice it into thin slices. Take a bell pepper, slice that also into thin slices. We're going to be using the onion slices and the bell pepper slices as a topping for our tacos. So we're going to set those aside separately. Take a jalapeno pepper, dice it up, add it to the onions. We're going to put those in together. Take your can of jackfruit, open it up, slice it down the middle. We want to make basically thin slices similar in size to the bell pepper slices that we had before. And this is going to give us that carnitas look to our tacos. This part here is probably the most time-consuming part of the entire recipe, but don't worry, it doesn't take very long. Once you've gotten your jackfruit sliced up, heat up a pan, get some oil in there, let it warm up a little bit, then toss in your onions and jalapenos, fry that up until the onions get translucent, start developing a little bit of color. Then we're going to add in our spices. We've got 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 2 teaspoons of cumin powder, 2 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of powdered onions, and 1 tablespoon of oregano. We're going to mix that up and fry those spices just to get a little bit more flavor out of those spices. Once that's been mixed up and you're starting to smell the spices, go ahead and toss in your jackfruit. And mix that all up nicely. We want to coat the jackfruit in that seasoning. And once it's all coated, we're going to add a little bit of the reserved jackfruit water there. So that's about 3 tablespoons, maybe a quarter of a cup of the jackfruit water, and just mix that all up nicely. Get that flavoring all over the jackfruit, and then we're going to go ahead and cover the jackfruit and cook it for 10 to 15 minutes, stirring occasionally until most of the liquid is either absorbed or evaporated. And right at the end there, add in some salt. I added in probably about a teaspoon and a half of salt. Stir that all up and set the jackfruit aside. And then just wipe out your pan, heat it back up, add in some oil, and now we're going to fry up those onions and bell peppers. It's going to be a great topping for our tacos here. So just fry them up, give them a little bit of color. We still want some crunch in them, so you don't want to cook them for too long. And then just go ahead and add some salt in there. And let's go ahead and set those aside also. And then the last thing we need to do is just wipe our pan out one more time and heat up our tortillas. I'm putting 3 tortillas in this pan. If you've got a griddle, you might be able to get more tortillas going. Just warm them up, soften them up, give them a tiny bit of color, and then we can start making our tacos. The first time I was introduced to these jackfruit tacos was at Sage Plant-Based Bistro in Culver City that serves all vegetarian food. And if you haven't been there, I definitely recommend trying it. There's some amazing ideas. But there we go, our jackfruit tacos done and ready to go. Hey, not bad.